So thank you all very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to be here this evening on a rainy Mumbai monsoon weather-driven, traffic congestion-driven evening, and really compliments to all of you for taking the time and trouble to be here today. And my compliments to Anurag and the team at Exchange for Media for organizing this event. I understand this is the inaugural event of its kind, and really recognizes the very valuable role which all of you from media agencies across the country play in helping corporate India to communicate better. So today what I'd like to do is to share with you some elements of the journey that we have embarked upon at the Tata Group. We want to build the Tata brand into a powerful global brand, and I hope for some of the Indian companies there will be lessons here that are worth adopting. And after my presentation, Sam and I are going to have a bit of a chat on that. Now, the mantra of globalization is one that we adopted at the Tata Group in the early 2000s. But before pursuing this goal, we clearly needed to consolidate our position in our domestic market right here in India. This required us to defend the market against challenges presented by the entry of foreign competition in India post the 1991 economic reforms. And it was critical that we leveraged the group's strengths in a united way. And in this endeavor, a big role was played by the unification of the Tata brand. Now, prior to this, we had a plethora of brands, which many of you would be familiar with, which depicted Tata. And these were then replaced with the now famous logo that you see on the screen. We also established various platforms through which we shared best practices. Sorry, we seem to have gone back. Can we get it full screen on? Yeah, thank you. We also established various platforms through which we shared best practices and improved the competitiveness of Tata Group companies. And of particular importance in this regard was the adoption of the Tata Business Excellence model, which was patterned on the Malcolm Baldrige Awards in the United States. In fact, this year we've been celebrating the 20th anniversary of the creation of the Tata Business Excellence model. So by the early 2000s, because of these investments, we felt we had the capability, we'd acquired the self-confidence to really take on competition in markets across the globe. And we then proceeded to undertake a combination of organic growth, inorganic expansion, and asset purchases across global markets. And many of the global brands that you see on the screen were integrated into our group through our acquisition of companies like Tetley, 8 O'Clock Coffee, Teleglobe, Jaguar Land Rover, and Chorus Steel. So from an $18 billion group in the early 2000s, we've now grown into a group which operates today in around 100 countries, directly employs over 600,000 people, and has an aggregate turnover of $108 billion. As our global footprint and stature have dramatically increased over the past decade, we believe that the time is right for us to now invest in building the Tata brand across markets. The global brand campaign that we are embarking upon shortly will be a first in the 148-year history of the Tata Group. So we're clear we need to communicate who we are and what we stand for, and the significance of the umbrella or parent Tata brand for the house of brands that the group represents. Now, in this existing house of brands, we have some brands that are linked to the Tata name and some which are not, including some of the global brands we acquired post-2000. With regard to the non-Tata name brands, let me remind you that we've had a long history of nurturing and supporting such brands, in some cases creating them, and in others acquiring them. Let me give you some historical examples. The first is, of course, the Taj, which was one of the first branded offerings of the Tata Group, created in the early 1900s, or Lakme, created in the 1950s, presenting our offering of cosmetics in the Indian market, or Voltas, a brand we acquired from the Volkart brothers in 1954, or Rallis, another brand that we acquired in 1962, or Titan, a brand that we created in 1984. In addition, we have brands offered by the many joint ventures in which we have partnerships with global corporates. And of course, the most recent example of this is Vistara, the brand name of our new airline in partnership with Singapore Airlines. So today what we have is a veritable melange of brands created and acquired with the Tata name and without. So you can see how complex this house of brands is proving to be. Now, a question I'm sometimes asked is whether in our house of brands, we regret the fact that some brands don't carry the Tata name. And the answer is no, we do not. Each brand that has been created enjoys a unique relationship with its consumer base, and we don't want to interfere in that relationship unless it becomes essential to defend the larger values our group stands for. So let me illustrate this proposition with two examples of acquisitions we made roughly within a year of each other, Chorus Steel and Jaguar Land Rover. In the case of the former, over a period of time, we came to the conclusion that the Chorus brand really didn't enjoy significant equity. Chorus itself was an aggregation of different steel companies, including once hallowed names like British Steel. Now, stakeholders in the steel industry, including lenders, suppliers, and customers, had instead a very positive understanding of Tata Steel India, a rock-solid, very efficient, very profitable organization. So it made sense to align their understanding with the understanding of the aspirations we had to make Chorus a similarly successful organization like Tata Steel India. So we renamed Chorus as Tata Steel Europe. Now, in contradistinction to all this stands Jaguar Land Rover, which was by all counts a struggling company in 2008. I still remember in 2008 when these acquisitions happened, you had people saying Chorus was a great buy and JLR didn't make any sense at all for the Tata Group, and how times have changed. Now, the JLR brands clearly had a huge reservoir of goodwill amongst a very large number of consumers across generations. So while it's clear that JLR would not have survived without the support and the financial commitments made by the Tata Group, we were also clear that we would not want to come between the connect and the relationship the brand had established with consumers across the world. And that decision, I think, has paid off in spades. JLR's turnaround is being seen as one of the great success stories of investments by emerging market companies in the developed markets. Key influencers across the developed markets, including lenders, policymakers, and the media, now see Tata as a very substantial organization, well capitalized with smart managers, which creates value in the brands it acquires and gives consumers and investors and other stakeholders the confidence that these brands are here to stay. So brand building for us is really a holistic activity, integrating messages about what our companies do, thought leadership of our people, including our senior executives, the adoption of branded properties that speak directly to our interests, and transparent communication across multiple platforms, including our digital platforms and social media. So besides paid media, we recognize the value of earned and owned media in building our brand, and we would leverage these platforms to maximize the reach of our messages. Our global brand campaign is going to be a very long journey, indeed one without an end goal. It will require consistent communication and engagement with multiple stakeholders. We're clear that a global brand cannot be built in a single year, and we're in this for the really long haul. We're very clear about the brand messaging corridors we will adopt for this campaign. These have been developed with considerable investment of time in internal debate, validation of proof points for different messages and themes, and testing of messages with external stakeholders. So as a process, we first sought to understand internal perceptions about the Tata brand. We believe it's critical to ensure alignment of those 600,000 plus colleagues of ours in the Tata Group who can be a powerful force multiplier and will be our principal brand ambassadors. Once internal perceptions had been clarified, we identified the key drivers for brand equity and tested and ranked these drivers with external stakeholders across multiple audience types. And finally, we agreed upon the following three messaging corridors: Tata is global, Tata is trustworthy, and Tata is a good corporate citizen. With these brand messaging corridors, anywhere in the world, we would like the Tata Group to be known as a successful and pioneering global enterprise with the community at its heart. So let me dwell now on these brand messaging corridors. First, the element of being global. 67% of our group's turnover is now generated outside of India, and close to a fourth of our workforce is non-Indian. We accordingly recognize the importance of positioning ourselves as a global enterprise. We happen to have Indian origins, but it is our global character that now distinguishes us. Moving to the messages about trust and corporate citizenship, or put differently, values and ethics and CSR. These themes of ethical conduct and giving back to society have been vital pillars on which the Tata brand equity has been built over 140 plus years. Our founder, Jamsetji Tata, famously said, and I quote, "In a free enterprise, the community is not just another stakeholder in business, but is in fact the very purpose of its existence," unquote. This profound statement, which roots the Tata brand since inception within the work we do for and with the communities we serve, found further resonance within the unique ownership structure which evolved within our group. The sons of our founder, Dorab and Ratan, each endowed charitable trusts with their equity holdings in the principal investment holding company of the Tata Group, Tata Sons. So as a result, today around 2/3 of the ownership of Tata Sons vests with private charities. I'm not aware of any exact parallel with the Tata Group where the ownership of such a large corporation substantially vests with charities, and charities whose only mandate is to give the wealth they receive away for good causes in society. And what this unique ownership structure also does is to create a sense of higher purpose about the work we do within the people of Tata. So a virtuous cycle is created which engenders trust in the Tata brand. We've even written our commitment to community into our code of conduct. In the clause on corporate citizenship, it's clarified that a Tata company shall be committed to good corporate citizenship, not only in the compliance of relevant laws and regulations, but also by actively assisting in the improvement of quality of life of the people in the communities in which it operates. The company shall not treat these activities as optional, but should strive to incorporate them as an integral part of its business plan. So the mandate to all our group companies, including the ones that operate outside India, is clear. They need to take up CSR activities with the same earnestness that we've seen in India over the decades. And we've consequently also defined our mission as improving the quality of life of the communities we serve globally through long-term stakeholder value creation based on leadership with trust. Thanks to our history, legacy, steadfast commitment of generations of Tata leaders and Tata people, and the unique ownership structure we have, I think this mission today has a tremendous authenticity to it. I do believe that in today's world, particularly in the wake of the many international scandals of the past 20 years and the lessons from the global financial crisis of 2008, customers everywhere are looking for authentic brands. They want brands with credibility and consistency, which they feel good about engaging with. Increasingly, as somebody put it recently, it's no longer about what you buy, but what you buy into. If businesses are willing to clarify the higher purpose they serve, customers are also willing to reward them with both mind share and share of wallet. I was reflecting on the importance of authenticity when I was reviewing some of the campaigns of our group companies over the past 1 year. And I'd like to pick out one in particular, which I think best speaks to what a group like Tata can do with a campaign. And this is in the space of cause-based marketing. I refer to our campaign on the power of 49 under the Jago Ray banner. Now, first developed at Tata Global Beverages, we adopted the Jago Ray platform and promoted it with help from a number of Tata companies on the eve of the last general elections. So let me first play for you the ad we shot on the power of 49, which many of you have probably seen, but just worth recollecting.
क्या है मैडम? पेपर स्प्रे. कोई तुम्हारे साथ फनी बिहेव करे ना? Straight in the eyes.
We all need one nowadays, huh?
तुम्हें भी अपनी सेफ्टी के लिए कुछ करना चाहिए.
हम काला टीका लगाते हैं.
काला टीका.
Like वो बुरी नजर types. Education problem, guys. छोड़ो ना.
Actually, मैडम, educated लोगों को भी लगाना चाहिए काला टीका.
Oh, really?
Excuse me.
Jagore, 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 jagore.
वोट किसी ऐसे नेता को दो जो हमारी सेफ्टी के लिए कुछ करे, सबके लिए चाहे.
हमारे 49% वोटर्स हैं. अपने मुद्दों के लिए वोट करो, 49 के पावर के लिए वोट करो. टाटा टी गोल्ड.
So the ad and the campaign really aimed at encouraging women to register for the vote and to cast independent and informed votes on issues that matter to them. And the campaign harnessed evangelists across all the Tata Group companies and used digital, mobile, and social media to aggregate women's issues from across the country. This resulted in the generation of the largest database of women's issues across the country. We had over 1.4 million responses, which we collated, prioritized into key issues, and then submitted to all the political parties as a comprehensive 10-point women's manifesto. And the campaign, of course, was adjudged the best campaign in 2014, winning the Grand MV Award. So just as we saw with the Power of 49 campaign, we would expect our corporate brand campaign to reinforce and also benefit from the campaigns of our individual companies. So there is a multiplier effect all around. So ladies and gentlemen, a century plus of hard work and customer centricity at Tata has yielded a brand that has been valued as the most valuable brand in India by Interbrand. And globally, the aggregate Tata brand portfolio is valued by Brand Finance now at a little over $23 billion. And you can see on this chart that this has grown quite consistently over the years. So given our history, we have every confidence that we will achieve the global vision that we have now set for ourselves, that by 2025, we will touch the lives of a quarter of the world's population and emerge as one of the 25 most admired brands, not in India, but in the world. So on that note, I'd now like to conclude with a short film that kind of captures this vision for us.
Today, the world is split into quarters. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. With success measured in months, minutes, milliseconds. As Tata people, when we think about the next quarter, we see it a little differently. That's because of who we are. Because of Jamsetji, Dorabji, Norodji, JRD, and Ratan Tata. Because of Tata people, the Tata community, the Tata values. All of these things make us different. It's a distinctiveness spelled out in our mission. To improve the quality of life of the communities we serve globally through long-term stakeholder value creation based on leadership with trust. For customers, communities, employees, partners, and shareholders. So when we, as the people of Tata, talk about the next quarter, we can't just mean Q3 or Q4. We have to mean more and see a much bigger picture. Let's look ahead to 2025. There will be over 8 billion people on our planet. Half of us will be in Asia. Almost 2/3 of us will live in cities. The global middle class will be billions strong. The world in 2025 will be gloriously, wonderfully different. But we will still share the same ambitions, the same hopes, the same dreams. Technology to inspire us, transport that drives opportunity, a better quality of life for our children, a sustainable future for all. All of this demands that we raise our expectations and lift our ambitions to meet and match the immense opportunities that the future presents. The vision is clear. By 2025, Tata will touch the lives of 1/4 of the world. That's over 2 billion people served by Tata companies, Tata people, and Tata products. We, the people of Tata, are on a journey that will take us to 1/4 of all humanity. That's what the next quarter should mean to us.
Thank you very much.